All right. Matt, the Mortgage Guy. In today's video, I want to talk about buying a house in this crazy housing market 2022. What's happening, what's changing, what you can expect, what you should do as a buyer in a market that's changing quite rapidly, to be completely honest. More in this video about what I'm hearing, seeing, and feeling in the real estate market, talking to buyers, talking to sellers, talking to real estate agents. Really, some things you should know that's going to help you navigate as the market changes throughout the summer. Stay tuned. All right, Matt, the Mortgage Guy, residential mortgage broker. Just want to share some thoughts with you. If you're a buyer in 2022, I talk to buyers of all shapes, sizes, demographics, credit scores, and it's been a really tough market. But I got some good news for you in today's video. The market is changing, and it's changing in your favor, right? I want to be as clear as possible and straightforward as possible. You shouldn't expect as a buyer for the pendulum to totally swing in your favor where you've got all the leverage in the transaction, right? We've still got a ton of demand, albeit less demand than we saw in months prior, but we've still got a ton of demand, fairly limited housing inventory, active inventory. But as inventory starts to come on the market, as demand wanes because of what the Fed is doing, right? The Fed is purposely pushing up interest rates to quell demand. Like, there's no secret about it. That's their objective, right? That's going to help inflation. That's going to, their quantitative tightening and things they're doing with monetary policy is to bring some balance to the market, right? And so as a buyer in 2022, while the market is crazy, as I record this video in May of 2022, the market in my area, in a lot of areas where I'm talking to real estate agents, talking to buyers, has changed. And by changed, I mean no longer are you competing against 15 offers. No longer are you required to remove appraisal contingency, loan contingency, close it in 17 days, give up your firstborn, and things like that. It's just not the case anymore, right? A lot of the data and a lot of the stats might not necessarily be on paper yet, but I can tell you from what I'm hearing, seeing, and feeling, the market has changed. And all you have to do if you're in the industry is have a few real estate conversations. And trust me, I've had dozens. Agents who are selling entry-level homes where there's a ton of demand are seeing 2 and 3 offers, 3 and 4 offers. If I talk to these same agents in the same markets at the same price points, they were seeing 12, 15, 20 offers just 2 months ago, right? And so, important thing to think about, while you shouldn't expect home prices to decline, I would fully expect home prices to level off. A lot of the data we're seeing says that we've seen year over year home price increases 18, 19, 20%. In some markets, I think I just saw something on Phoenix, a 32% year over year home price appreciation in some parts of Phoenix. That's just ludicrous, right? If we go back to 3%, 5% home price appreciation, after seeing 30, it's going to feel flat. But that correction does not mean that you go out and start offering $390 on a house that's listed for $450. Just not the case, right? So here's my best advice to you as a buyer. If you're entering this market as a buyer, make sure you're connected with a real estate agent that, they don't have to be doing 100 deals a year, but they're active. They're out there talking to other agents. They're out there submitting offers. They're working with multiple buyers. They have a finger on the pulse of the market, because what they need to do and what they should be doing, reaching out to the listing agent, having a conversation, digging into how many offers do you have, and trying to figure out what's it going to take to get this house. I can tell you with absolute certainty, in this changing market, you are going to see something listed at $399 that you could probably offer between $390 and $400 and get an offer accepted. An agent who's not active, who's not finger on the pulse, who isn't really paying attention, is going to have you right at 430 or 440. It might have taken that in March. That might have been the only chance you had to get this house in February. It's May. Things have changed, and they're continuing to change. You need to make sure that on this property, you're getting the right information. And I want to make sure that people understand every single property is different. You can't have a blanket rule that says you must offer at list. You must offer 5% above. You must offer 10% above. You can offer 5% below. It doesn't apply. The same home might be listed at $399 or $430 based on who the agent is, based on the seller's mood, right? And so while offering $400 might sound ridiculous if it's listed at $430, it might be perfect if it's listed at $399. Same house. Listing price is objective, right? Like whatever the seller and their agent decides on, right? So connect with an agent who's going to do the work, right? Be prepared to write strong offers, but not have to give away everything, right? You might be able to have a loan contingency and an appraisal contingency in place. Who would have thought, right? You might be able to even offer contingent on your house selling. Who would have thought? You might be able to get an FHA offer accepted. Who would have thought, right? All these things have already started to happen, right? I've got more FHA loans into contract over the last week than I got into contract over the whole first quarter. I think that stat's true. Came off the top of my head. I think it's true. A lot of FHA stuff. FHA is going to make its way back into the market. Contingent offers are going to make their way back into the market. Everything that was impossible 3 to 6 months ago, the doors are going to start to open. I can see it, I can hear it, and I can feel it. So if you're a buyer, that's good news, right? But you got to be paying attention. You got to have an agent that's paying attention. Get out there, make sure that you're fully pre-approved, that you know your numbers in advance. Empower yourself through education. Get with a loan officer that's going to give you a breakdown. If you buy it at $450 with 5% down, here's what your payment looks like. If you put down 10%, here's what it looks like. Then you can go out there and say, I know exactly the price point I want, the payment I want. Now I just got to go find the house, right? Get with an agent and say, listen, I'm trying to pay somewhere between $425 and $450. It's what my budget allows. I want 3 bedrooms, 2 baths in this neighborhood. A good agent is going to tell you if you're not realistic. But if you are, they're going to say, yep, I can find that for sure. Let's go. Look at a few houses, and they're going to be able to get information out of the list side and say, let's write at 430. I think it's going to work. Let's offer a 21-day close. Let's shorten the appraisal and the loan contingencies, but let's keep them both in place for your protection, whatever the case may be, right? Great agent, fully pre-approved, empowered with the education you got from the loan officer. Get out there and get it done. I'm excited. I know that the buying season is in full effect. I know that the buyer's got a little bit of leverage back, and that makes me excited because I'm on the buy side, right? As a mortgage broker, that's my team, is the buyer. If we can help you at all, please feel free to reach out. Go to greatmortgagebroker.com, fill out the form, let us know where you're at, how we can help, and we'll be in touch. Until next time, we gonna see.